like probably maybe even over a year ago. I was I had this dream that Rabbi Stillman, alav shalom, he used to be Chabad house rabbi on Gailey for many years, like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And he passed away, I think over a year ago. And his wife is Rachi Stillman, Baruch Hashem, and she live and be well. He came to me in a dream. Now I wasn't close to him. I was like, I didn't know why he came to me. But while he was just in the dream. He appeared in my house. I was doing some work in my office. He appeared, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, speaking to him. He didn't say anything. He wasn't speaking. He was just there. And my father, who may he live and be well, who lives in Yerushalayim, he was in my house, and he was in the back of the house, and he was saying how he's so excited. He started a new class. What's this new class? This new class is Dvar Malchut, which is what we're going to be learning today. He's all excited. My father's telling somebody on the phone. He loves the class. He goes to it every week. This is the highlight of his day, of his week, and he's telling us all about it. And Dvar Malchut is the latest sichos of the Rebbe. Talks there like 1991, 1992. They're all full of like this enthusiasm for Mashiach and what we got to do to bring Mashiach and how to be in that Mashiach mindset. And it's like all very futuristic, excited, like very, very like way beyond like what the Rebbe had been teaching for many, many years, like on a whole new level of consciousness. So I was so excited that my father was learning these classes, and I told Rabbi Stillman in the dream, I said, look, Rabbi Stillman, isn't this wonderful? My father's learning Malchut. I was like so excited, I was elated. And Rabbi Stillman nodded, and that was the end of the dream. And then afterwards, I tried to figure out why did this happen, and I figured probably Rabbi Stillman had some influence way back. I was a little girl. I remember my father used to take me to the building on Gailey Avenue and see Rabbi Stillman there and Schwartz there, and they must have had an influence on him. And possibly because of that influence, I ended up being able to go to Chabad school, Chabad camp, and meeting Chabad teachers and Rebbe and become Chabad myself. So that was probably, he had an influence on it, and that's probably why he was in my dream. And I was reporting to him that my father is learning Malchut. So a few days after this dream, it was Shabbos. I was I went to daven in the rabbi's backyard, COVID time, and in the backyard, they're neighbors with my friend Yocheved Lizak's daughter. So I see Yocheved Lizak there, and Yocheved Lizak used to host the Beis Chana classes in her house for years and years and years and years. Every Wednesday, Yocheved Lizak set up the chairs, cleaned up the chairs, and set up the table, cleaned up the table, and hosted, for 2 classes every Wednesday. Years. I can't even imagine. I can't even figure out how many years. And it was just like, it was very stable, very reliable, and I didn't have to worry about anything. She just took it over. And here she is. She was moved out of town. And now one of those classes are in Incredible Kids' backyard right now, every Wednesday, which I understand. But anyway, so Yocheved's back in town for a visit to her daughter. And I see her and I say, hi, what are you doing for classes now? And she said, I join a Zoom every morning and Dvar Malchut with a group. I said, wow, that sounds good. That sounds good. I said, I'll send you the link to join. So I did. I said, it's a shkacha pratik. If I dreamt about my father being so excited about Dvar Malchut. That Shabbos, I meet my friend and she says, there's a class in Dvar Malchut. I said, okay, it's a shkacha pratik. It's meant to be, and I joined the class. Anyway, so that class has been like learning the Rebbe's talks every morning. It's been like, for me, life-changing, very, very, very helpful. It helps create my positive attitude for the day, for the week, for the year. It's life-changing, the Rebbe's outlook. When you try to really live it, it just elevates the whole new level of consciousness and awareness when you're thinking of it, when you're focused on it. So when Rosh Hashanah came around and we're trying to think, what do I do this year to bring something new into the world, I decided I'm going to try to do this. Before Rosh Hashanah already, I was like, it was percolating, and I did even a class before Rosh Hashanah, and then one class after. And now this is what I want to do. I want to do like a class in how, where, and what, and exactly. I haven't 100% figured out, but right now we're Rabbi Pairs, and very, very lovely here, and they have good fighting in a um, beautiful setup of your children. They offered me their place, and I'm very, very grateful. And to be in a holy place, shul is a wonderful thing. So I'm right by the bima, and I'm surrounded with holy things. This is where we are. So this is the sikha that we're going to do today. Is Parshat Vayera. The Parsha of this week is the Parsha Vayera, where it says Hashem appeared to Abraham. Okay, and it was a hot day, and Abraham Avinu had just had the bris, a circumcision, at the age of 99. So he was healing, and Hashem appeared to him. Vayera Hashem Abraham. Vayera Lav Hashem. Hashem appeared to him. It says. So the Rebbe talks about what it is. Hashem appeared to him, what it's all about, and the Rebbe says not just that Hashem is appeared to Abraham. There's something to learn from this for all of us. That there, and I'm going to give you a little taste of the end of it already from the beginning, so you could see the track, the line of reasoning and explanation that the Rebbe brings till the end. The end and then result is that we can also desire and yearn for Hashem to appear to each and every one of us, because we're His children and by virtue of that covenant that Hashem did with Avraham Avinu, our forefather, we inherited that covenant. And even women who don't have a bris, or people who don't have a bris, we're part of that, part of the tribe. We're part of the descendants, and we inherited this covenant of given to Abraham that he merits to see godliness revealed in the merit of what he did to connect Hashem with his bris, doing us circumcision. So we have a very special connection because of it we have holy bodies. Our body is holier than it would have been without a circumcision. If Abraham had not done the circumcision, it would have been different. The circumcision brings a certain level of holiness, and that level of holiness happens or comes to us when the man does the bris, the woman is given her name. This extra special holiness, which is the portion of God, the chelik of Akav, which comes to our body, and makes our body holy. And not only that, the Rebbe says not only the body is holy, but we can also affect our physical things around us. For sure, like food and drink that we have, we ingest it, it becomes part of our body. It's that serve God and bring God revealed within us and in the world. So that is celebrated. Not only that, but all the things around us. And I'm going to do it inside because there's so many unbelievable, beautiful points where the Rebbe brings like proofs to what he's saying over here, that we, each and every one of us, has to yearn and do have a higher revelation of holiness. Now, what the problem is, we don't necessarily always feel it. We don't sense necessarily always and see this revelation of godliness that we have. However, that doesn't mean that we don't have it. And the Rebbe says if we yearn for it and ask for it and try to make ourselves a vessel for it, then we can have it also. So how do we become a vessel to get this extra revelation of godliness, that Hashem should appear to us, reveal himself to us, reveal a special level of godliness? And that the Rebbe also says that by making everything about us holy, like using everything we have, our food, our drink, our house, our belongings, everything that we come in contact with, using it for its highest purpose, to reveal Hashem in this world. We want to bring Hashem consciousness to everything, ourselves and to so every object of so for women it would be our makeup and our clothes and our hair and our everything, our cell phone and our car and all our possessions. We have in mind that all our body, every aspect of our body, every aspect of our being, we are intention. Intention is very big now. So Vayera talks about it already. Chassidus talks about it a long time ago. And we have that intent that we're using for its purpose, highest purpose, which is to reveal godliness in the world and elevate it to holiness. Then we are elevating, bringing this awareness. And be times of Mashiach. And when we yearn for this revelation, we're also yearning for this revelation that we will have in the times of Mashiach form. We will be able to see godliness in everything physical. I mean, there are lots of verses. Look at all the things around us. We will be able to see, oh, that's Hashem is in that. God is in this. God is here. God is orchestrating this. God is sending me a message here. Everything we'll see the purpose of it, the godliness in it, and it won't be covering up on God. It will feel good. That we prepare for it now by yearning for that and trying to use everything that we have for a higher purpose. That makes it a vessel that we will the godly purpose in it, and in everything else. So that's
can I just say that the connection's not that great? I don't know if it's my end or if it's yours. I'm not sure.
Can you speak up?
I was just saying that the connection's not so great. I don't know if it's my end or your end, but
okay. So it could be. You know what? I don't hear you so well too. So I'm gonna. If you want, I'll exit the Zoom and re-enter if you want. So that
I mean, now I hear better. Like
you hear better now.
You're talking
okay, so I'll move
louder.
it closer.
Maybe, yeah.
I hear better too.
I hear close up.
Okay.
It's I think it was because I was on the phone when I opened the Zoom. So that's what I'm saying. If it really is bad, I can disconnect and reconnect.
And now it's sounding better.
Hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it's also better. Thanks.
What did he say?
For me, it's also better.
It's better. Okay,
Yeah.
closer.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay. Ray says it's also better. Thank you, Ray. Okay, hi, Ray. Hi, Dahlia. Hi. Okay, so I won't disconnect, but if somebody has trouble hearing, let me know. I'll disconnect and just like restart the whole Zoom. Okay, so let's look inside. So we have like this. It's a long sikha, so I'm trying to see what I can snip out of it. That here, start in number here, part 6. Okay. Okay, so when it says Hashem appeared to him, first of all, it doesn't say appeared to Abraham over here, it says appeared to him. And there it says appeared to him, it says those words specifically, not to Abraham, so that we can learn a lesson that Hashem wants to appear to us, each one of us. Hashem is revealing himself to us, we just don't always see it. Okay, Leah Pearl actually sent me a link. Oh, Leah, I don't have it anymore. Let me look at the chats. She wants me to take a little, I was asked if I could show the ladies chorale that's premiering today, but I don't know how to, she sent me the link and I don't see it. So I'm not gonna do it. Unless Leah, you wanna post it yourself? You said you were gonna post it? At any time you can interrupt me, Leah, and post it. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Okay, so here we go. Hashem wants to appear to us. So this is very exciting because Hashem wants to appear to us, right? And it can happen. The Rebbe says we can have Hashem appear to us. We don't have to think that it's just for Abraham and just Abraham is going to get this revelation of godliness. We too can do it, which is pretty amazing when you think of it, that the Rebbe is saying we can all have this revelation that Abraham had. We do have it, he says, we just don't necessarily see it. But we can tune in and get that revelation in a revealed way that we could actually see it. So let me go inside. Okay, so what is this revelation of a higher level of godliness? It comes through our godly soul. It is the fact that we have a godly soul, that the godly soul is a part of God himself. It's a part of God above. Now, when we have that little part of God above in us, then it makes our body, which is when we're born is not necessarily holy, it makes it holy. So then we all know a Jew's body is holy, and there's certain laws because of it. Lots of laws about how you even, you violate the Sabbath to save a person's life. There's a lot of rules about the holiness of the body. And it starts from when the bris is done by a man and when the name is given by a woman. Now this extra holiness, the Rebbe brings a proof that you can see that even little children who don't necessarily learn about God or understand God, they have a connection to God already. When they're benching, they're benching to God, they're blessing God, they're praying to God. They have this sense of godliness about them, even though they're not necessarily learned. So, and also he says, you could see, kids get very excited by holy things, by a mezuzah. Why? Because they have this level of holiness already imbued in them. Now, the Rebbe says, by the way, in parentheses, that it's a good idea to pick up the kids and actually have them kiss the mezuzah in the morning and at night, and get them like as part of their routine. But he said they get excited about Hashem, even though, they don't necessarily have an understanding in their consciousness, but they're connected because they have a piece of God within them, the godly soul. So they have this connection to Hashem, and this revelation of Hashem is in them, from when they're little kids, from when they have the bris, or when they're given the name. And that also adds over there. That's why it's also good, even for the little kids, to have each one of them have their own holy books in their bedroom, and to have their own tzedakah pushka with their name on it, their own books, each one their own siddur, their own tehillim or their own chitas, to have it in their room with their name, that it's theirs, because the holiness of them is already from when they're little, and it also can affect their material things. The things in the world around them are also affected by their holiness. So they can already elevate things to kedusha, to holiness, even before bar and bas mitzvah. They can affect holiness in the world, and that's why the Rebbe says it's a good idea that every Jewish child, every boy and girl, should have holy books in their room, a chumash, he says, a siddur, etc., and a tzedakah that belongs to them with their name inside. There's another sikh there also said they should have their own Haggadah. There are many things I ever wanted the kids to have as their own. They have a connection, and they have an influence on the world around them because of their holy neshama that comes to them through the bris. Okay, so not only then are our little tchotchkes or little things, around us, like our makeup, I said, and our clothes or whatever, everything, our portion in the world, any type of influence that we have in the world is also elevated, okay? So it's called our chelik in the world, chelko ba'olam. And we make a dwelling place for Hashem, not just in our own little home, we make it, and even in our own self, in our own body, we also make a dwelling place for Hashem by everything that we influence around us. So, the business that we have, or the Zooms that we do, or whatever it is that we are connected, even the store that we go to buy from, whoever we're interacting with, we can elevate it to a higher level of consciousness if we have that intention to reveal Hashem in that place. Now, I'm going to go back inside. Okay. There was going back to the words, Hashem appeared to him. What does this have to do for each and every Jew? How does Hashem appear to him, meaning to each and every one of us? So the Rebbe says, when we say Hashem appeared to him, it means to you. They didn't say to Abraham, it said to you. And Elav, to him, which means to him, to each and every one of us. Now, because we know this, that we can have this revelation. We do have it, we want to be able to actually see it. This can create in us a desire to actually see it. And we've learned also from, there was a story of the Rebbe, which Rebbe was it? The Rebbe Rashab. He came to his father, and he cried. Why? Or he came to his grandfather. Why don't I get to see God like Avraham Avinu did? So why was the story told to us? Even though the answer was, Avraham was on a higher level, he did a bris at 99. Of course, he deserved it. The Rebbe says it's not. The story was told to us not so that we just think that only Avraham gets it, Abraham. But the story came to us so that we know that we also can get such a revelation if we desire it. And so the fact that this little boy, the Rebbe Rashab, when he was little, he cried that he didn't get this revelation. The Rebbe is saying we have to learn from that. We also want to have to cry out and say, we want this revelation of Hashem within us. And we could get a revelation imbued in us. We could do it through, first of all, through the bris milah, the bris, and then the Rebbe says, even if we didn't have the bris, like a woman or a person who didn't, the fact that it was the bris, the covenant was made of Abraham, we each can also, we're part of this ability. We get a godly soul, and we can reveal our godly soul within us when we use it to reveal Hashem in the world. So when we get up in the morning and we brush our teeth and we get dressed and we do, we make our food and we go about our business, each and every one of those things, if we're intending, we're doing this in order to reveal Hashem in this world, to bring godliness within us and in the world, we are elevating it, and we're preparing ourselves for these revelations of Hashem appearing to us and bringing this consciousness of godliness revealed. Now, the Rebbe goes on to say that this is especially, the Rebbe spoke this sikha on the 18th of the month, and 18 is Chai, and it's a Chai has something also very special in it, that we can bring, Chai symbolizes that we can bring a Chais, we can bring a liveliness, a life force into our everyday work. Everyday work, meaning like even the mundane things that don't seem to be so special or so holy or so, right? We're not necessarily in a shul, we're not necessarily in teaching or saying Tehillim, we're doing some time, we're just doing a mundane thing. Even those things, we can bring a godly consciousness that we're doing it for Hashem. In those things, we can make them, elevate them, make them holy. And that's the power that we got because of this covenant that Hashem made with Abraham, and we got this godly soul in us. Hello, welcome. So we come now to the 20th. Okay, we're not in the 18th yet, but the 18th is near the 20th. And hi Rachel, good to see you. I'm glad you're still here. And hi Diana, good to see you on camera. So, okay, so I'm going to skip a little bit because there's a lot more really good stuff in the sikha that I want to get to. I'm so glad you came. Okay, let me just skip a little bit. Hold on, because the end is really mind-boggling over here, and I want to get to it. Okay, here we go. When it says, one of the things that will happen when Mashiach comes, it says, our eyes will see our teachers. We'll actually be able to see something more than we are able to see now with our eyes, physical eyes. And it also says that all the eyes of flesh will see godliness. These are the prophecies of the times of Mashiach. There will be a revelation of godliness that will be in the creation in such a way that we can see that the creation is really alive from godliness, meaning that it's not alive on its own. It's not separate from Hashem. The world is not, a created something or entity on its own, but it's all, we'll see the life force that's giving it its life and bringing it into being. Now, one of the things that he says over here that I don't remember exactly where he said it, but I think I skipped it and I don't want to skip it. It's a very important point. He says, we can come to a realization also, not just that Hashem has given life force to the world, but that our godly soul, our nefesh elokit, our part of God, that's the spark of God that's Hashem, within each and every one of us that we get. It's not just, it's that godly spark, which is one with Hashem, which is part of Hashem, that is actually what's giving us our existence and giving us our life force. So it's not, when Hashem created the world, He created it with speech, right? So Hashem created the world and He said, let there be light, and let there be a firmament, right? Let there be plants. So that is, Rachel Yudkaf is online. She does a lot of artwork about the letters that Hashem used to create the world. Now, to be able to come to that recognition that the whole world is existing on Hashem's word is a pretty big realization. But the Rebbe wants us to see it even deeper. He wants us to know that our body of a Jew is actually not just living on the speech of Hashem, but also we're getting really our life force from our neshama, from our godly spark, our part of Hashem that's within us, which is a bigger revelation than the words of Hashem that were spoken to give creation life force. So if we come to a level, and the Rebbe says tzaddikim who overcome all their temptations and their desires and their blocks and their problems, they're able to come to this realization and recognition and sense and feel and see that really their life force is not just from the letters of creation that Hashem put in creation, which is more the rules of nature and ways of nature, but that their life force, their existence is actually from the spark of godliness, the godly soul that's in their body, that Hashem blew into our body, that's within our body, and really our existence is dependent and alive from that godly spark within us. So it's a higher level of godliness. So this is something that the Rebbe wants us to. He's telling us obviously not just so that we know it's a nice idea. The Rebbe wants us to come to that sense also. To come to this. He's not just telling us about something that some people might be able to recognize. Each and every one of us, the Rebbe wants us to come to this recognition that our life force is not dependent. Even it's really our existence is not coming from just like everything else in the world is created. Once we got this covenant, we have a spark of Hashem, a godly neshama. That is our real source of life, and it's a much higher level of godliness and revelation. That's why we can experience miracles, and we can experience God in a higher level, even beyond miracles, and that will have fully revealed when Mashiach comes. But we're preparing for it now the Rebbe says, by learning these concepts and bringing the concept of Hashem revealed in the physical things, the mundane things, that prepares us for all these revelations. So let's look inside again. Okay, we want to review. He brings another proof. He says, in each and every Jew, there's a spark from the soul of Mashiach, which is the Yechida of our soul, which is a spark of the Yechida of the Neshama of Mashiach. And that's why every person, every Jewish person is called a star, which is also one of the names of Mashiach, Kochav. Like it says, Darach Kochav Miyakov. So we're each called a star because we have something within us that is like from the spark of godliness that we said before, this Yechida in us. And actually, we could see it more revealed by little children, little kids, because they don't have all this, their own selves covering up too much, their own personality, their own understandings and ideas. They're a little bit more innocent and you could sense them, and that's why they're called Mashiachai. They're called little Mashiachs. So how do we reveal this? How do we come to reveal this godly spark? When each of us does our mission in the world, the Rebbe says, our shlichus, and we use the 10 powers of our soul. So you have shliach plus 10 is Mashiach. So when shliach means an emissary. So when we're doing our mission, and we're emissaries for God's light in the world, and we use the 10 powers of our soul to do that, meaning we put the effort into using all our potential inside of us, all our talents, then we reveal that Mashiach within us. The Yechida, the highest level of our soul, is revealed. There was, I'm wondering if I should say this, but Rebbe Ginsburg once taught years ago something very powerful, that there's different ways to connect, right? We can connect to the Rebbe, to the Lubavitch Rebbe. We can connect by going to 770. We can connect by going to the Rebbe's Ohel. We can connect by learning the Rebbe's Tichas. The Rebbe's, right, like we're doing right now. We're learning something that the Rebbe taught us that's making us connected to. There's different levels depending on the different levels of our soul. So we have different, when we learn the Torah of the Rebbe, we're connecting like our mind. So that's our intellect is being connected to the Rebbe. When we're doing the Rebbe's shlichus, we're giving over our will. So that's an even higher level beyond our intellect, because we're going beyond what makes sense. And the Rebbe says, do this, we do it. Go here, go there, go to Hollywood, go to Timbuktu, go to Honolulu, whatever it is, wherever we're sent. So it's using our willpower to do what the Rebbe says. The Rebbe says, do the 10 mitzvahs, talk to the non-Jews about their mitzvahs, talk to Jews about mitzvahs. So even though we're uncomfortable, let's say, doing that, we do it. Okay, so that's giving up our will. So that's connecting on the level of Keter, which is crown, which is our will, which is beyond what makes sense. So and then there's even higher than that. The highest level is when we learn Geula and Mashiach and we do Mitzayim, we also spread the teachings of Geula and Mashiach, which is what we're doing right now. That's revealing the Yechida, beyond the crown, which is the will. It's the level of the godly spark that's within us. That's called the Yechida. It's the highest level of our neshama is being revealed. When we learn Geula and Mashiach, we teach people about Geula and Mashiach. So let's get even better. It gets even better over here. It's a great, okay, in times of Mashiach, what will be the highest revelations that will come through learning Chassidus, learning the deeper dimensions of Torah? Like it says, Hashem will kiss us from the kisses of his lips. God doesn't have lips, right? He'll teach us the deepest secrets of Torah, which are like mouth to mouth. It's the closest revelation that we can have, the closest connection that we can have to Hashem through this new Torah that Hashem is going to teach us, which is coming out forth from Hashem, which is, we're preparing for it and able to understand it through the teachings of Chassidus, which is what we're learning. And at that point, we'll be on such a level that will be so clear and so understood, we won't even need somebody else to teach us because it will be revealed from the highest level of our neshama. The highest level of our neshama is beyond even, right, our mind. So it'll be beyond, it's the highest levels of our neshama will be revealed to everybody. We won't, at that point, we won't have to teach each other or learn from each other because we'll all be able to sense and see with our own eyes of flesh, godliness. So there's going to be stages to that, but that's the ultimate, is that revelation. So the Rebbe says, this month we have the Rebbe Rashab's birthday is on Chaf Cheshvan, and he lived in the times, very, very hard, much harder times where people had to struggle very much to, and he founded during that time a yeshiva, Tomchei Tmimim, in Lubavitch, and people struggled, to get to that yeshiva. One of my teachers was a student in that yeshiva, Blazer Nanis. You went there, you never came home until you got married. So basically from the age 15, he never went home, except once when he had typhus. Before he had typhus, the Rebbe sent him home. And but then he came back and he was there till he got married. So it was much harsher and more difficult in those days to learn Torah, and still they did it. But the Rebbe says we're beyond that. We're past those times. We're past those struggles. We're now in a time where we're here with the ability to learn through the internet, through Zoom, and get connected in wondrous ways that they would have considered a big miracle and a big revelation. So let's go inside. We're after a lot of Hashem, a lot of great revelations, a lot of wondrous things. The Rebbe says the niflaot, the wonders, are actually the revelations of the Torah of Mashiach. The revelation of the inner dimensions of Torah is actually the niflaot. The niflaot are wonders. So we always understand wonders are miracles. The good things happen in the physical world. That's a miracle. The Rebbe says over here, niflaot is also means the actual teachings, the hidden teachings that are being revealed. Those are the wondrous things. So this year's Teshnat Tlaot Bakol, right? Tafshin Pei. So it's not niflaot, but it's plot. It's also wonders in everything that we can see the Hashem, the teachings of Chassidus in everything. We reveal the godliness in everything, in Bakol, in everything. Bet is for Bakol. And then we're able to get a taste of the world to come. It's called Iman Hashem. Hashem gives us a little taste of the world to come. And the complete revelation will be when Mashiach comes. But we're getting a taste of it when we learn the Chassidus of it. We learn Chassidus and we see godliness and everything. We're tasting the revelations of Mashiach already now. Okay, so let's go back inside. The Rebbe also says that this, all this revelations of that we're talking about of bringing the godliness into the mundane. This month is a month without any high holidays or special events. So it's like more of a mundane month. So we have that ability, though, the Rebbe says, in that challenge, to take the highest of the high, all the revelations from the month of Tishrei, and from all these great feelings that we had, and feelings of connections that we had to Hashem, and desires to come close to Hashem that we had throughout the month of Tishrei. Now is that we're bringing it into the actual physical mundane every day today. Whatever life we have to deal with, everybody has to deal with the physical world, with physical things and challenges. So it's more of it takes more of a struggle, right? The Rebbe says it affects all the months afterwards. It affects Kislev, and it affects Teves and Shvat and other, and the Rebbe goes into each and every month, how each and every month there's something special about it. And this month, though, even though it doesn't really have anything special to do with it, it has that power because we're bringing the life energy of Tishrei into the mundane. That would bring the highest of the high through the lowest of the low. That's actually the most powerful thing the Rebbe says. When we're actually taking the most physical thing and imbuing it with godliness and with the kavanah, that is actually the highest thing you can do, the best thing you can do. That's the God's desire. That's what Hashem wants us to do in this physical world. He wants us to take the most mundane and reveal Hashem in it. So that's really, this month is like, it's where it's at. And it has an influence and a power to influence all the months afterwards. Yes. How? Because in this month, we have to take the actual physical, day-to-day mundane routines of without any yantivs, without any higher inspiration, and elevate the most physical month to the highest levels of revelation. So because of that struggle, the lower we go, the more we do Hashem's will, the more kavanah of Hashem we're bringing. That's why Malchut, which is the lowest sphere, you have to go through Malchut and express Hashem in this world, express Hashem's revelation in this physical world. That brings us to the highest level. It's higher than what the angels can do. It's higher than what our neshamas can do in the Garden of Eden or in Gan Eden after they leave the body. It says neshamas in Gan Eden, they wish they could come and give some tzedakah here. Like 1 penny, 1 coin, they can't. And they wish they could because they can't. We're the ones who can bring godliness into the physical world. And in Tanya, actually, of yesterday's Tanya, the Rebbe explains that we can, through the physical, through actually dealing with the physical, we come to the highest revelations. And that's why it says the angels come and listen to us. Right now we're on the Zoom. The angels are hovering above and they're like listening to us because they can't articulate Torah. They can't actually bring it into a physical brain, a physical mouth, and a physical body. And we are here, everything that we did today to prepare for today. Shoshana prepared the food and okay, sorry. She doesn't want me to mention that. Okay, whatever. Rabbi Pear made a beautiful shul. All the effort that went into making this shul and the whole stuff behind me and the Zoom and the technology and all the work that we did to get dressed and come here and speak and prepare, use all the limbs of our body. It's all being elevated. Every last thing, even my everything. So here we go. This is a very high power. It's a powerful thing. It elevates us. So that has an effect on all the months to come. Okay, so then the Rebbe says towards that, and the main thing, one more thing he says, and this is the main thing. Doesn't say one more, he says, and more, and this is the main thing, that everything that we said until now, that we have a spark of Mashiach, which is the Yechida, which is that spark of godliness that's in each and every Jewish person. We also, the Rebbe says, have Mashiach in actuality. Actually, because it says in every generation, there is a person who's alive, who is from from Yehuda, and he's right from the tribe of Judah, and he can be the Mashiach, and he can redeem us. And at the time that he needs to be redeemed, he'll reveal himself. And okay, so every generation we has this potential. And if the generation merits, then the Mashiach is revealed. And the Rebbe says like this, the the previous Rebbe said that everything we have to really do to bring Mashiach, we already did. We're ready. We're ready to receive Mashiach. And for sure, in our times already, everything that should stop Mashiach from coming doesn't exist anymore, because right, the Rebbe already said that the previous Rebbe said that we're already ready, and this was many years ago. So the Rebbe says for sure now, everything that could have been stopping Mashiach from coming doesn't have an effect anymore, and therefore he says we already have the revelation of Mashiach, and just all we have to do is to accept that the concept of Mashiach and receive that idea within us. And like it says in the Parshat, when Hashem revealed himself to Avraham Avinu, that we can also have these revelations. Now, Hashem is revealing himself, the Rebbe says, to each and every Jew. The question is, are we seeing it, right? So Hashem is revealing. He revealed himself to Avraham. He's revealing himself. He gave us each a soul. The question is, are we tuning into that soul, and are we seeing these revelations? So the Rebbe is putting parallel with the concept of being able to see Hashem and able to see Mashiach, or the revelations of Mashiach. It's the same thing. The Rebbe says it's here. The question is, are we tuning in and seeing it? And in times of Mashiach, we'll actually be able to see in the physical things that, like it says, the walls will scream. They'll scream. This is our God. Hashem. Hashem is. We'll see Hashem in the physical things. And it'll scream out to us that this is Hashem. Hashem is here. So therefore, the Rebbe says it's understood. Everything that we do has to be chadur, imbued, permeated with geula, with the inyanim, with the things that have to do with Mashiach, things that have to do with the complete redemption, the geula. Even his eating, even his drinking. That while we're eating and drinking, we say, well, we wish we could be eating the Suda of Mashiach. But when Mashiach comes, it says we're going to have a big meal. So we're yearning this big meal to a point that we're saying, well, you know what? We're not fully satisfied. We're not fully permeated with. We're not fully satiated until we get this meal of Mashiach. Meaning, that in everything that we do, even the mundane, we can be focused on Mashiach. So it's not two separate things. It's not I go to business and I run a business, and that's one thing, and then I go to shul on Shabbos, and that's another thing. No, every little thing that we do is permeated with the consciousness that we're preparing for Mashiach and the revelations of Mashiach, and that's going to happen. This is the end. The main thing the Rebbe says that this should happen in actuality, that we'll be able to point with our finger and say, "This is you, Hashem, and this is Mashiach who has come." And all the people will be resurrected. All the Rebbe mentioned specifically the previous Rebbe and the tzaddikim will also be resurrected, and we will have godliness revealed, and we'll be rejoicing in Hashem's salvation. We'll have the true joy of the geula, the true and complete redemption in a revealed way, in actuality, mamish, intangibly. And then we will even be able to say the bracha. It says when Mashiach comes, we'll be saying Shechianu v'kimanu v'gyanu l'zman hazeh. We'll bless Hashem that you've brought us to this time and this place and this moment. That's one of the brachot, the blessings that we say. So I'm going to give you an opportunity. You can unmute yourselves and say something or ask something or say what you got from it if you want to share. Diana or Hayunit, bracha. Anna, Diana, Rachel, Perla. Oh wow, it's so good. I didn't know who 1 + 7 Pro is. Dalia, Hanipati, Bracha. Who's Bracha? So what do you want to share? What do you think? Rachel, you want to say something? I'm glad you're here. I can hear you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. It's probably my phone. No.
It's because
Somebody
she's in
else?
the car, it's
Oh.
trying to go through the Bluetooth speaker. That's what it is. So it won't catch it.
What did you say?
It's because she's in the car and the phone is connected to the car. So it's trying to go through the Bluetooth speaker or
Right.
something.
It's not connected.
The microphone doesn't work through Bluetooth, basically.
What doesn't work through Bluetooth?
The microphone.
The microphone. Okay, I see. Okay, sorry, Rachel.
Just took it off Bluetooth. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Just took it off.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you were saying about living Mashiach consciousness, and you could really bring it into our day nowadays and our daily lives, what we do, what our, our jobs, everything. And I was thinking about that on Shabbos. Actually, my mother and I sing, when we light the candles, we sing the bracha together, and we say Sheva Bana Beis Hamikdash together, and it's a whole thing. And then when I was saying Sheva Bana Beis Hamikdash, like to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash, the Holy Temple, I was thinking, I'm like, yes, I want this. This is like, I want this with every core of my essence. And then I had a thought. I'm like, but I like what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying Gullus, as it were. Like, I'm really, I'm doing it. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And I don't want to stop what I'm doing. Sorry. And I don't want to stop what I'm doing. But then I had another thought. I'm like, why does it say, like, why am I thinking that I have to stop what I'm doing? What I'm doing is, sorry. What I'm doing is a complete preparation for Mashiach, and I could keep on doing the same exact thing when Mashiach does come.
Yes.
And it was a revelation that was like, it took it, because, there's always that kind of type, I don't know, I feel like a lot of, in a lot of ways, we always have that thought, like, we really want Mashiach, but like, do we really want Mashiach? Like, do we want things to change? Do we want, this big, like, yes, of course we wanted all the things that we've been learning about Mashiach, but like to actually take that into reality and say, yes, with all my heart and soul, I want Mashiach because I know that I'm on that path. I'm already living that Mashiach mindset within my own life and the everyday that I do. So it was taking that to further. It's like, yeah.
That's a great point, Rachel. Thank you. I'll just say for the people who they weren't able to hear you. I'll repeat what you said. It's such a great point. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
She was saying, of course I want Mashiach, but then she was thinking, but I'm happy with what I'm doing now. I'm happy with my life. I'm enjoying, my life now. You're supposed to enjoy your life. So how is that going to work? I don't want my life, to all of a sudden end what I'm doing and then go to Mashiach and start a whole new reality. And she realized, no, that's not it. It's not true. Everything, Rachel, everything she's doing now, she's going to continue doing. Everything that we're doing now, if we're doing it as a preparation for Mashiach, it's holy, it's good, it's permeated with Hashem. Hashem's, this is my own little added thing. The Rebbe does say that in the Sikha, though, is that now is the time to examine, is this something that's fitting for Mashiach times? Are we what are we investing our energy in? Is this something that we will want to do? Like, is this something we want to be, when Mashiach comes, this is something that will be part of Mashiach time. So if we're doing things that we're invested with our mindset of, this is Mashiach mindset, this is a good thing and we're bringing condition, great. But there is a possibility there might be a few things we might let go of on the way that are not really serving us and serving a higher purpose. Wow, that was a great point. But her point was, we don't have to stop what we're doing now. We just have to do it with the kavanah that it's to bring reveal godliness. All the little mundane things that we're doing, that we're enjoying doing, we should enjoy, are revealing Hashem. If we're having that consciousness, and we'll keep doing it. We'll keep revealing Hashem in all these mundane things. That's Mashiach times will be revealed in mundane things. That's the beauty of it. We're not going to escape the world and go to a new world without. But at a certain stage, the world will change. But that's much later down. That's after the resurrection. That's not for a while. The times of Mashiach will still be, the life as it is. It just will be on this higher level of awareness and consciousness. Hashem will be revealed within us and within our physical life. So that's we're all making that happen right now. Deanna, you want to say something?
I just want to say, hi, I'm here all the time on my video. Hi. I was learning like that. Miriam Yerushalmi did a class for us, and we were learning from the Rambam. I think that basically, like, you could have, like, if we merit that, like, the revelation of Hashem in this world, like, if we merit it, then it will come right away. We won't have to wait till after Techias and Nisim. So there are two different ways that it could go, I think.
Yeah, no, the revelation will be before Tchias HaMesim. I'm just saying that the way living the life as we know it and with tangible reality and still dealing with all the mundane things will still continue with Mashiach times. Our homes, our cars, our clothes, our things, our fun. It's still going to be happening. It's not like all of a sudden going to disappear. After the resurrection, there will be a little bit of a difference. There will be a different, more of a miraculous, more of a. We'll still be in bodies, but it's not going to be exactly the same. We don't know exactly how it's going to be, but it's going to be even higher level. It's not going to be the world as we know it. It will be, some things will change. But but all the revelations that we're waiting for, like, right away that we can more than we can even imagine probably. But
like, I'm just wondering if we're going to start learning like Torah like full time right away. Like, that's what I want to know.
Oh, probably. Probably. What do you think? What do you ladies think? She asked, are we going to be learning Torah full time right away?
I should hope so. Yeah.
Well, Ray, you have any ideas or a need? We don't see you. What do you think? What's the consensus over here?
I think so.
See, when you're saying learning also all day long, if we're imbued with Hashem at every moment, everything we're doing, that is a learning experience. If our consciousness is tuned in to Hashem, even when we're eating and drinking, which is what the Rebbe wants us to do, we're learning while we're eating and drinking, right? It's learning doesn't necessarily has to be within exactly in the book. It's a learning
really?
experience.
That's such an interesting perspective. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So that we can do right now. We can always be learning. What do you think, Ronit?
So every second, like you said, is a learning experience.
Wait, I don't hear you.
I don't know why.
I still don't hear you.
I probably don't have a good connection.
What?
Maybe I don't have a good connection.
Can you bring that closer to you?
Is this good?
Yeah, that's why you see me so close up.
Okay, do you hear me now?
We can hear you better. Yeah, you just need to get a little closer.
Okay, so
Next time I'll do the Zoom better. I think it's because I was on the phone when I started the Zoom. So
I can
it
hear
didn't
her.
have
I
a great connection from the beginning.
yeah, we can hear you, Baruch Hashem. We hear you well.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah. Oh, Perla hears you good.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. So like you said, it's just being aware and seeing Hashem and everything, meaning like I fell, oh wow, I could have gotten even more hurt, or Baruch Hashem, I got late to go on the freeway, but I missed an accident, or thank you Hashem for Parshat, seeing Hashem in every step in our life and learning from it and growing from it and sharing and just grateful.
It's too bad you can't hear. You can go on Zoom on your phone if you want and hear what they're saying.
I think that what
Thank
she's
you,
saying, I feel that way in terms of, let's say I had a wedding and my mother couldn't come to my wedding. She fell. It was the craziest thing in the world. Never, ever. And the plane that she was supposed to be on crashed. Okay.
Oh.
I remember hearing that. I was in my car. I was gripping the wheel and I was in shock. I think that we see things. I think God sometimes lets us see amazing things in terms of what may look bad is not bad. It's obviously it was bad for some people, but we don't know. But I have a consciousness of everything. I'm not everything, but a lot of things, and I love it. And it started for me mostly when I was involved with the Chabad of Poway's, the event where we were attacked by this boy with his rifle, an AK, was an AK-15 or whatever it was. And he killed only, I mean, it sounds weird, but he killed only one person. He could have wiped everybody out. I mean, it was the craziest thing. I think that,
What happened?
Uh-huh.
We lost you. Perla, we lost you. Oh, well.
sorry. Yeah.
Perla used
yeah.
to live in Poway. And she was on her way to shul when the attack occurred with her grandkids.
Right.
Mm.
And my grandson, my grandsons were there the day before. And that night, one of them stepped on a bee, his foot swelled, he couldn't go to shul, he couldn't walk to shul. So what happens? All his brothers say, oh, we're going to keep him company and we're not going. Okay. It would have been devastating if they had been there. And then on top of that, we were walking to shul, and my husband and I, and my two granddaughters said, we want to go with you. They were like molasses, stepping on every little stone. They were amazing. But that kept us from being there when that was happening. We would have been there. It was seeing all these things that were so unusual, because my baby granddaughter, who is 3, okay, she never wants to leave her mother. What is she doing? She's saying, Grandma, I want to go to shul with you. It's like crazy. So that's how I've been seeing those things a lot. And I thank God for letting me see these little things, and they're not so little, it's
Perla, you should have
keep
her
your
first
eyes open.
name up, Perla Baskela. Perla's son-in-law.
Thank you. Right.
Perla's son-in-law was actually in Chabad Poway
Right.
at the time, and he was one of the people who protected the little kids, made sure they got to safety and were safe.
Right. And then when he came home, the next day they went to the shul to see what damage. He saw the bullet hole that was right where he was sitting. Okay. And it had grazed, he didn't even know it, but it had gone through the material of his shirt. And when he went to see his mother, she said, how come your shirt is ripped? And he didn't have any clue. And it's like all from God. And the what else? But there's so many things. The Rebbitzin wasn't there because her baby was fussy that morning. It was unbelievable. I don't know. The woman that even warned us to not go, because this man was there. And when he heard the shots, he ran out of the shul to the left. Okay. My son-in-law ran to the right. Okay. I never saw him, but I wouldn't have seen it, but anybody there wouldn't have seen him. But the guy who ran to the left came out towards the front of the shul. And my girlfriend, who was there, who heard, she didn't know what the sound was. But then when she saw him running, she realized, oh my gosh, there's a shooting inside the shul. She turned around, and she's my next door neighbor, and she drove towards home, and she saw us, and she stopped in the middle of the road and said, go back. There's been a shooting. Go back. And that saved us, because we would have been out there when he was coming out of the shul. It was just nutsy. I mean, I couldn't believe all the little things, how they fell into place. It was amazing. And I was sitting next to this guy who ran to the left. I was sitting next to his wife afterwards when we were all discussing everything. And she said he felt terrible because he ran to the left because his son was there and he should have stayed. He felt like he should have stayed for his son. His son went into the ladies' room and was fine. But I told her, I said, no, he saved us. Because he went in other people, because he went to the left and people saw him. He was the one it was the warning person that something's going on. It was amazing. This was totally amazing. Sorry about that.
Wow. They know. Thank you, Perla. I didn't hear all those little details from you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Thanks.
No, it's good. Why are
Yeah,
you
no, thank you for
apologizing?
sharing. Actually, is
Yes.
I don't know. For me, it's good to hear your perspective, and also like I totally get how you said like Hashem was there with you the whole way. You know, like
Yes.
didn't seem like it, but like he was there with you. Like it's amazing. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just giving you the, I'm just giving you the icing on the cake. There's even more stuff. I mean, here's a crazy thing. There was a little girl and her uncle who were there. They received they got hit with shrapnel. Okay, they got hit with shrapnel, and the doctor told the little girl that if it had been like a millimeter closer, she would have lost her eye. She was fine, and her uncle, he just had some. They were flesh wounds because it was from the shrapnel. It wasn't actually from the bullet. Okay, but what was really unusual is that these two people came to our shul because they were living in a Sderot. What's the one? Sderot, Sderot, where the Gaza, where from next to Gaza, where they get all the bombs all the time. They wanted to be away from the bombs. And what happens? God tells them, "Hey, don't run away from Israel. Don't run away." Because of the one
Israel is the safest place in the world. But, yeah, I have a niece who lives in Sarah. But
Okay. Bye-bye.
what you're telling us, Perla,
What?
is exactly what we were learning today. Is that this world, God is here, and we can, if we tune into God, we could see God even in the darkest, most mundane, most painful things. We could see God's hand orchestrating things, and sometimes it's very hard, especially when there's pain and suffering and bullets and all that. But the more we try to focus and see God in it, the more we can see it, the more we can really tune in that this is all part of God's plan and part of God's world and part of revealing Hashem. God, of course, we want God to be revealed in a way that we don't have to see it in pain and suffering.
Right. I want to tell you another piece of irony besides this couple, the little girl and her uncle. The woman that was killed, my girlfriend, all right, Lori. I don't think I can speak on this, but this is the strangest thing of all, because she was out in front when the guy came in. All right. And there was her husband was the only person in the entire show who had a gun. He had it in his little bag, where he for his tellus and all that other stuff. He was the only one. And her father had given it to him so that they would have protection in the shul. The irony of that, the only one. And then what happened was, when the boy ran out, there was a guy who was a military type person. He got that gun. He got it from him and shot at the boy. Okay, I don't know what he hit, but he shot at the boy. He didn't hit the boy, but he shot at him. And I was so happy, because I said to myself, this tells the world, because it was in the news, that we had a gun there. We're not defenseless. We had something, even though it didn't help her, and it didn't help, but it told the world that we are prepared in a way. And that was a big factor for me. It was like a crazy factor, because I don't know. It was ironic. Okay, thanks. Sorry. Done. I'm done.
No. Remember, she should be of a blessing.
Oh, here.
Do you remember her father's name? Her full Hebrew name?
Her father's Hebrew name. Oh my gosh. No, I don't. I used to visit him and his wife in the nursing home, but one of the reasons why she was there, I mean, it was a Saturday, but her mother had just died. Her mother, she went up to Shemayim to be with her mother. Let me tell you, her mother had passed away about 6 months before, of old age. She was a lovely lady.
They should
Unbelievable.
all have a complete healing. By the way, Lev Pearl, who sets up my Zoom and stuff and helps me with Beis Chana whenever she has time, it's her brother, Rabbi Goldstein, the one who lost his finger. But they're an incredible family, and I know he helped. Trauma for the whole community. It looks like she came out with seeing such miracles and seeing such a positivity is very, very special, Perla. And Perla in general is always positive, no matter what. You should have a complete and speedy recovery. And we need also a huge recovery, and all those who need should have all the brachot revealed and manifest, like see Hashem's hand in everything at all times without worry or pain or anything.
Amen.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Perla, for sharing, and have nachas from all your grandkids.
Not too much. Not too much. That's it?
So, does anybody else want to share? Ray sent a text. I'm gonna unmute all of you if you want.
What?
You can all unmute if there's anybody who wants to share something.
No, so I have one for the house. The big
What?
one. That's it.
Oh, Shoshana, we hear you. You want to share something? Okay. So I think we'll end here. Thank you all. Unless there's somebody else who has something else to share, I'm gonna end here. Thank you all for coming and
Thank
joining.
you.
See you soon. Be well. Bye bye. We'll see you next Sunday, Bezat Hashem, 10:30. Bezat Hashem. Okay. Take care. And why isn't it ending?